Hey guys, and welcome over here to my channel. So today we are filming the Extreme Grocery Budget Challenge. I did do this once before over at my channel and we did it with only $20. I will link that video down below in my description box if any of you guys want to watch it. Today we are doing it with $30. We did boost up that budget so we were able to get more vegetables. But anyways, I'm super excited about this video. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it before we hop into it. I'm pretty much going to be going to Walmart and trying to stay within a $30 budget. And we're going to see how many meals we could create with only $30. I am only going to be using salt, pepper, and oil from my own home. I know it sounds crazy, but I think we could do it. The amount of meals in this video is based off of serving size, and it is based off of my husband and myself and how much we eat. In my opinion, we eat quite a bit. Also in collaboration with my friend named Katelyn. Her channel is Living That Mama Life. She is also doing a video very similar to this. Her channel is amazing, and I'm pretty sure you guys would love it. She does lots of cooking videos as well as what's for dinner videos, and she has two super sweet little kids that are just so cute. But anyways, after my video, if you want to go check her channel out, I will leave it linked down below in my description box. And if you are new here, I'd love to have you over at my channel, so go ahead and subscribe down below the video. But now let's get on to this week of meals. One thing I wanted to point out to you guys really quickly is always look at the price per ounce while buying products. As you guys could see here, buying the larger amount of turkey is a lot less money, but since we are trying to stay in a small budget for the entire week, I just bought the little turkey that is actually more money. This is just a pound of turkey, but if I would have bought in the larger package of turkey, I actually would have saved some money. We just got back from Walmart and I am so happy we did stay under our $30 price point and we got all this stuff. So I'm really excited about that. So we're going to start on our meats over here and I'm going to show you guys what we got. So we got this ground turkey. This is 90 lean 10 fat. This is a really great option. You know, if you're wanting a ground beef type of thing, try ground turkey if you are, you know, on a tight budget. And then over here we got some chicken breasts. I wasn't wanting to do chicken thighs this time. We did do chicken thighs last time. I was feeling more like chicken breasts, so that's what we got. We got some bullion. I was just wanting some chicken or vegetable bullion, but this is the cheapest my store had. It's the tomato and chicken, so we're going to try this. I've actually never tried it before, but it was a decent price, so we got that. And then a dozen eggs. You guys know eggs are amazing if you're trying to stay in a budget for breakfasts and lunches. And then for our fresh type of things, we got some garlic. So garlic is really good because it adds a lot of flavor to your foods, as you guys know, as well as a yellow onion. This is huge. I'm probably going to divide this into 3 or 4 dinners, but we will wait and see. And then a half gallon of milk. And then over here, some potatoes. This is a great filler for a lot of meals, and it's super delicious, and you know, it will leave you full for hours. And then over here, some pie crusts. These are 2 pie crusts. I'm going to be making a quiche out of one and then probably a pot pie out of the other. So then over here, I bought a pound of lentils. Last time, if you guys saw my last video like this, I actually bought pinto beans, but I did want to switch it up a little bit, so I got lentils this time. And for our canned goods, I bought some petite diced tomatoes. I bought 3 cans of mixed vegetables. Over here we have cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, and then for our fruit I got our mandarin oranges. And then over here some cornbread. This is just the Jiffy cornbread. This is so inexpensive. So if you guys are struggling with money and trying to stay on a tight budget, try this cornbread. cornbread. I think you guys will like it. And for my husband and I, it does give us a few different dinners out of that guy. And then down here for our frozen vegetables, we got some chopped kale, chopped spinach, and California style mixed vegetables. I really do like frozen vegetables over canned vegetables, so I did spend a little bit more on these, but to me it is worth it. So now let's put all this stuff together and start making some meals. To get us started off this week, I made this really inexpensive shepherd's pie. This is the turkey that we got from the store, and we're going to be using this instead of some ground beef or lamb, which is typically in shepherd's pie. So I'm just breaking this turkey up and cooking it all the way through. Once it is cooked through, I just used one of these tomato and chicken bullion cubes with a cup of water, and then I just poured it into that cooked turkey, and I let that water evaporate for about a minute. Then, of course, since we are only using salt and pepper, we just poured quite a bit of some salt and pepper in there just to season this up. Of course, if you have any other spices at your house, like garlic powder, onion powder, that would go great in this recipe. So now I'm just adding in this can of cream of mushroom soup along with one of our mixed vegetable cans. And then I kind of just stirred this to combine and warmed everything through. While that mixture was warming through, I just decided to start on our mashed potatoes. So I got 5 of our russet potatoes we got from the store, chopped them up, peeled them into small pieces, and then I added them into this large pot of some boiling water. I did let these get fork tender, and then I put them into a separate bowl, and now we're going to make some mashed potatoes. So I just poured a little bit of that milk we bought from the store, and then seriously just salt and pepper. We are being super budget this week, so no butter because we did not buy that from the store, and I just mashed these potatoes up, and then I pulled out my casserole dish. Now we're pouring in that shepherd's pie filling to the bottom of our casserole dish, and then just right on top of that we're going to be adding our mashed potato filling, and then I just threw this into an oven preheated to 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. Here is our shepherd's pie out of the oven. This turned out absolutely amazing. It definitely did not lack in flavor. It also gave us quite a few meals, which was super impressive and amazing. Also, this recipe does warm up really, really great for leftovers the next day, which was super good. Here is our little side dish snack for the entire week. I'm just using our cornbread mix right now. You know, nothing too special about it. I just added the 1 egg and then the milk that the recipe called for. So I did want to let you guys know I did make these into little muffins. So I used to nanny some kids a little while ago, and they used to love these on occasion when I would make little cornbread muffins for them, you know, just as little snacks throughout the week. So that is what I did. I just made them into miniature muffins, and this is really good because I know a lot of times children really don't eat an entire muffin. They kind of eat a bite and then they're done. So this is a really good option if you are, you know, looking to make some cornbread muffins. For this meal, we made a lentil and kale soup, and this one's really gonna impress you guys. So to begin, I just have our large yellow onion right here, and I'm just going to be chopping a small amount of this onion into small pieces. Into my large pot, I'm just adding a little bit of some olive oil. Then I'm just adding in our onions, and I'm just going to let these onions get nice and translucent. I have about 8 cups of water right here. Then I'm just adding in one of our broth cubes just like that, and I'm going to microwave it for a few seconds. Now back over to our large pot, I'm adding about 3 cloves of garlic in there. Garlic adds so much flavor and freshness to recipes for such a little cost. I really do suggest buying garlic if you guys are on a tight budget. Now I'm just adding in 6 ounces of our chopped frozen kale that we bought from Walmart, and I'm giving it a good stir. Kale is also a great option if you guys are trying to stay in a budget. It is so healthy for your bodies and it's so cheap. And then I just added our can of diced tomatoes, and I'm going to be adding in our lentils. This is just 1 1/4 cup of rinsed lentils. Now we're adding in our broth with the bouillon cube. I was actually super impressed with these bouillon cubes throughout the week. They added such great flavor and freshness to each of these recipes, and for such a little cost, this was a no-brainer to buy. I was really happy with that purchase. Now I'm adding in about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper and then a teaspoon of salt. I gave this a great stir. Let this come up to a simmer, put the lid on for about 30 minutes to let it simmer. And here is our end result. This came out so delicious, and this was a meatless meal actually, so if you are meatless, this is a great recipe for you. It is also vegetarian, if I am not wrong. This was so flavorful and it left us full for hours. It also provided a lot of different meals. This recipe will be a great breakfast or lunch idea for you guys. We're making spinach quiche. We're going to be using one of our 2 9-inch pie crusts for this recipe. We're saving the other one for a pot pie later in this film. So my mom actually used to buy these pre-made pie crusts just like this and make 2 pies out of it. So instead of using both of the pie crusts for 1 pie, she'd make 2. And I always thought that idea was such a good idea, and I hadn't tried it, so I decided to try it for this week. So I just put that pie crust on my pie dish and poked some holes in it. So now we're going to start on the quiche. We're going to be cracking 6 of our eggs into this bowl. Typically, quiches call for either bacon, sausage, or ham, but we didn't buy that from the store, so we're not adding that in, as well as some flour. We didn't buy any flour, so we're going without flour today, but that's going to be totally okay. But we are adding in 3/4 cup of whole milk, along with a teaspoon of salt, and then 1/4 teaspoon of some black pepper, and then we're just going to mix this all together to combine. We are also going to be adding 6 ounces of our frozen bag of spinach. I did thaw this frozen spinach out in the microwave, and then I strained it from all the water inside, just because you don't want that added water in your quiche while it is baking. So here is our 6 ounces of spinach. I'm just going to be adding this into our bowl, and then I'm going to mix it to combine. Here's our pie crust. I did stick this pie crust in the oven to pre-bake for about 3 minutes before, and now I just pour the quiche in, and we're going to stick it back in the oven on about 450 for about 35 minutes. Here is our quiche out of the oven, and for being so frugal, this turned out absolutely amazing. We were really impressed by it, and it really did give us quite a bit of servings. This turned out so delicious, and it was packed full of nutrients. Now with the other pie crust, we're going to be making this super frugal chicken pot pie. To begin, I just boiled up about 1.5 pounds of some chicken breast that we got in that big bag of frozen chicken breast from Walmart, and now I'm just shredding it into fine pieces. Now that our chicken breast is nice and shredded, I'm just adding this can of cream of chicken soup that we got from the store, along with one of our cans of mixed vegetables that are drained, and I'm going to mix this all together to combine. To season it up, of course, I'm just using a little bit of salt and pepper, so I'm just using about a teaspoon of some salt and then a little under 1/2 teaspoon of some pepper, and then I'm just going to give this a good stir once again. Now that all of our pot pie filling is inside of our pie tin, I'm going to be using our second pie crust for this recipe. So I'm just going to be putting it right on top of that chicken pot pie, kind of crushing down the edges and then slitting a couple holes in the center for air to escape. Then I'm going to toss it in my preheated oven. Here it is out of the oven. This turned out so delicious. Chicken pot pie is a great filling meal, and then adding those, mixed vegetables added quite a bit of nutrients that we needed, and this again gave us quite a few meals out of it. We were really impressed. I didn't want to bore you guys and show you every time I made oatmeal for breakfast, so I just decided to show you guys one time. So I just poured some of our quick oats into this bowl along with a little bit of milk, microwaved it, and then I used the mandarin oranges on top to give it some flavor and some nourishment. This was great. For this meal, we made a chicken and veggie skillet dish. Now we're going to start by chopping up half of the remainder of the onion that is left. It's about a half a cup altogether, and I'm going to be chopping up into small pieces. Into my pan right here, I'm just adding about a tablespoon of some olive oil along with our chopped up onion. I stirred it around until those onions got nice and translucent. To add freshness and flavor to this recipe, I added 6 cloves of garlic. With another chicken breast that I got from Walmart, I just chopped it up into very small pieces, and then I just seasoned it with a little bit of salt and pepper. And then something else I seasoned it with was one of these bullion cubes. I just added 1 bullion cube in there and kind of stirred it around the chicken, and that is why this chicken looks a little bit red, just due to the fact that this bullion cube is tomato flavored. Now that our chicken breast is nicely cooked through and our bullion cube is nicely distributed, I just added this entire bag of California cut veggies. I stirred it all together and let that cook all the way through. And now with our kale, I'm just adding about a half a cup of our frozen kale that we got from the store. I just stirred it all together till those veggies were nice and tender. Here we are, all plated up. This was such a good low-carb meal, high protein and high nutritious vegetables. This was a total hit and it didn't lack in flavor. Now for a breakfast for a couple of days, I just made a few fried eggs, just whatever fried eggs were pretty much left at the end of the week. I didn't really want to bore you guys again with this, but I just made a few of those eggs, seasoned it with some salt and pepper, and just made some fried eggs for my husband and myself. For this last meal out of the week, we just made a nutritious chicken, potato, and lentil soup. So to begin, I just used the remainder of the onion that was left and I just chopped it into fine pieces. Over to my large pot, I just poured some olive oil in there, and then I added our chopped onion and I let that get nice and translucent. Since this was the last meal, I used the last of our garlic, which was 5 cloves, and then I used the remainder pound of chicken that was left. I just cut it into small pieces, and then I just stirred it around and cooked that totally through. I did season this up with about a teaspoon of salt and pepper. If I were to do this again, I'd probably add a tablespoon of both in there to give this added flavor. And then I added our chopped potatoes. This is about 3 pounds of our chopped russet potatoes. It was whatever was left in our bag at that point. And now I just added in our 7 cups of some water with our bullion cube and then our mixed vegetables. Then we're adding the remainder of our lentils. It's about a half a cup that I rinsed, and then our spinach and kale, I used whatever was left of that. So it was about a half a cup of kale and then a cup of spinach that was left at that point. I just stirred this all together and put the lid on and let this simmer on my stove for about 45 minutes. Here it is all cooked through. I did have to add a couple more cups of water just so it didn't get too thick while cooking. This was super good. It did lack in flavor a little bit, so if you had some extra seasonings on hand, such as Italian seasoning or anything like that, I would add that in. I did serve this alongside of a couple of our cornbread muffins, but this was still super good and nutritious. And that wraps up today's extreme grocery budget challenge. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and if you are new here, I'd love to have you over at my channel. So go ahead and subscribe down below the video, and don't forget to go check out my friend named Katelyn. She did do a similar video to this. I have her channel linked down below in my description box, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.